LeBron James has finally made a decision, and he's going to the city of brotherly love. He's going to be a Philadelphia 76er. This was one of the teams that makes a lot of sense, but I personally did not see it coming. Now, what does this mean for the Eastern Conference? It puts pretty much them and New York, I think, neck and neck as the top two teams in the East. No other team really scares me. Detroit doesn't scare me. The Celtics don't scare me. The Raptors, even if they get Kawhi Leonard, they don't scare me if I'm Philadelphia. So and I think it's pretty much one tier at the top, and it's New York and it's Philly now. Because you look at that Philadelphia starting lineup, you got VJ, you got Maxey, you got LeBron, you got Jaylen Brown, and you got Embiid. Hopefully, this team can stay healthy because we know about Embiid's health, and LeBron James hasn't been the healthiest player lately either. And you just can't really expect that for him to be healthy at his age. LeBron James going to Philly does not happen unless this Jaylen Brown trade happens. And so, Philadelphia, you were probably already thanking the Celtics for trading Jaylen Brown to you guys. Well, they basically gave you guys Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. Because I don't think LeBron goes without Jaylen Brown being a Philadelphia 76er. If I'm a Celtics fan, I would be livid because you created a super team and you took a step back now. As the Celtics have taken a step back. It's there's no doubt about it. They're no longer in that same tier to me. Where that begs the question now, where does Philly rank in the NBA? I don't think you could put them above OKC and San Antonio. I would have San Antonio 1, OKC 2, and then it's close between Philly and New York. It would be tough to decide between those two, but I probably right now would go Philly and then New York. And then for 4, you could say Minnesota, Denver. There's a lot of parity after in that area. So 4, you could pick, for the 5th spot, you could pick whoever. But I think number 1 is San Antonio, 2 OKC, 3 Philadelphia, 4 New York, and then I would say 5 would be Minnesota for me. But this definitely puts Philly in the top 4 conversation. I think firmly in the top 4. Just I wouldn't put them in the same tier as San Antonio, and I wouldn't put them in the same tier as OKC. I think San Antonio and OKC are in a different tier. Like, why did LeBron James choose Philly of all teams? Well, again, I don't think they make this trade without Jaylen Brown going. So I don't think LeBron James signs there without Jaylen Brown going to Philly. If he wants to win a championship, I mean, there's no doubt about that. That's why you're playing this game at this late into his career. If he wants to win a championship, then he could have gone to New York, or he could have gone to San Antonio, or he could have gone to OKC. But because of how bad it looked when Durant went to the Warriors, I don't think LeBron James wanted to take the easy route, quote unquote, to winning a championship. And if he went to OKC or San Antonio or New York, I would say definitely if he went to OKC or San Antonio, it would kind of have that Kevin Durant feel of like, why are we even playing this season? What's the point? We know the Warriors are going to win the championship. So it would kind of feel like that. If LeBron James had gone to New York, it wouldn't have felt as bad as that Kevin Durant move to the Warriors, but it still would have felt pretty tough. Like, this team just won a championship and they get LeBron James now. So optically, it wouldn't have looked good for him. It would have looked like, again, he's taking the easy route. With him going to Philly, I mean, they haven't won a championship there for ages. He would be the savior for that team. New York already had their savior in Jaylen Brown. And, Wemby's going to win many championships. OKC's already won a championship with Shea. Philly makes a lot of sense because if you look at their starting five now. I mean, it's the best in the league. It would be the best in the league compared to if you put LeBron James in one of those other teams I mentioned. I think those teams would have been better, but this is the next best option for him besides those three teams. If LeBron James wins a championship in Philly, he would have 4 titles in 4 different cities. And obviously that's never been done before. He would be a legend in Philadelphia. He would be an icon. Now, the basketball fit, not the most seamless. Now, you want the ball in Tyrese Maxey's hand as much as possible. He's still the best player on that team, in my opinion. And with him having the ball in his hands more than those other guys are going to have to spot up more. They're going to have to set screens more, and they're going to have to cut. So LeBron James as a cutter, I'm not worried about it. Jaylen Brown is going to have to be a little bit better in that area. Joel Embiid is going to have to shoot well from 3. Joel Embiid just needs to stay healthy. I mean, that's the main thing for him. He just needs to stay healthy. And you want VJ to develop too and also carry a load. So it's not the most perfect fit because it's not like all those guys are great shooters, but they're all respectable shooters. I still think they're going to be able to space the floor well, and it's going to create driving lanes for 4 of the 5 starters. It's going to create driving lanes for LeBron, Tyrese, Jaylen, and VJ. I would like to see is for Philly to run a lot of Tyrese Maxey, LeBron James pick and roll, because that's where Philly is going to be the most dangerous, in my opinion. That will be pretty much impossible to guard, I think. Let's talk about rotations a little bit. If we talk about rotations and you have VJ, Maxey, LeBron, Jaylen Brown, I want to make sure I have one of Maxey and VJ on the floor at the same time. And I want to make sure I have LeBron and Jaylen Brown, one of those guys on the floor at the same time. That way you could have Tyrese and LeBron sharing the court at the same time, staggering those minutes with VJ and Jaylen Brown. And Embiid can fit in wherever he can. You know, you don't want to play him too much because you want to save him for the playoffs. I mean, that's the thing. LeBron and Embiid, these guys have a lot of miles on them and just have had a lot of health issues. And you want to make sure they don't play any back-to-backs. You want to make sure you limit them playing a whole lot of minutes in the regular season. But you also still need them to develop chemistry. The chemistry issue is a big thing because New York has built a lot of chemistry over the years, and that's why they were able to make it to the championship and win the championship. That was a key factor in them defeating San Antonio. You could tell San Antonio was getting used to playing with each other. They were a young team. And in Philly's case, they're not a young team, but they haven't played with each other. The only way to solve that issue is to play as much as you can with each other. That's how you develop chemistry. That's how you understand each other's roles. That is a key factor. If someone says, I'm still picking New York over Philly, I totally understand it because that would be the reasoning. I'm still going to go with Philly because I think talent-wise they're better, but I wouldn't be shocked if I saw New York beat them in the playoffs. It wouldn't be shocking. Again, a lot of it is going to depend on Embiid's health and LeBron's health. For Philly to win a championship, I would say Embiid needs to just be healthy, and he could be the 4th best player on that team, and they could win a championship. So you're not heavily relying on him, but you do kind of need him, especially if you face a Wemby in the finals. The bench is not looking the hottest because behind Embiid, you have Edem Bona, you have Huck Porty. Not the greatest. Guys that could fill in and, they seem like bench bigs, and I don't think I would want to start either of them. And I like Edem Bona, and I think he's going to do fine in the regular season. But come playoff time, you're going to need someone else The thing is, like, I don't trust Embiid's defense either in the playoffs, but you know, that center position is something they could potentially need to fill down the line. Now, I still like the rest of their bench because they have Anthony Simons they signed on in free agency, and they have LeBron James they drafted, and they also signed Dean Wade in free agency. So that's a pretty solid bench. But overall, you look at that team and you're like, man, they haven't played a lot of minutes together. The not only the core but the bench. These were my quick thoughts. I know I probably rambled a little bit here, but just want to get all my thoughts out on the LeBron James move to Philly. And I appreciate you watching and staying till the end. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.